A near epic comeback for the Broncos, but in the end, it's a 34-28 loss to the Chiefs. Hello, welcome into the studio alongside Todd Davis and Nick Ferguson. I am Phil Milani. This is Broncos Postgame Live. Guys, that was a wild game, probably the most entertaining game for the Broncos all year long. Todd, what'd you think?
You know, it gives me a lot of hope. I know we didn't come away with a win tonight, but it felt good. A lot of parts of this game felt good. I like that we saw complimentary football for the first time really all year. I think great defense led to great offense led to great defense. Those picks in the second quarter and third quarter, they ended up leading to points. That was something we hadn't seen all year, and that's huge. I think once that happened, you saw the defense begin to get third and outs. 3 and outs, put pressure on Mahomes. It really turned into great defense because the offense was able to convert turnovers into points. I think we're able to do that more throughout the year and next year. I think that's our formula to winning, and I think that was great to see, and it gives me a lot of hope for the team.
You know, it was interesting that, for the first time this season, we saw the Broncos overcome a large deficit. I think this equals the same amount of points they scored in the Raiders game, 28 points. But this was very exciting to see the Broncos come out and perform the way that they did. At the beginning of the game, we thought that it was a wrap, it was a wash. Fans started leaving the stadium. But if those who did, you missed out on a great game. And it was great to watch these guys actually fight back. And Russell Wilson, he's taken a lot of shots this season, and he took a big shot to end the game that really put him in concussion protocol. But talk about a guy who really wanted to win this game, and he laid it all on the line.
Yeah, he was fighting for his team. 3rd and 11, trying to score, dives for the first down there. But, gosh, what happened at the beginning, Todd? They were down 27-0 right off the bat.
It really didn't have much offense, and the defense was really getting steamrolled. But like I said earlier, once they were able to create that spark with the turnovers, I think the offense and the defense really began to click. And one of the things I like is, tonight Russell Wilson was a leading rusher. Sometimes that's what you're going to have to do. If they want to play man-to-man and your offensive line is not having a good night once again, sometimes you're going to have to take off and make some big plays. He had a costly one at the end of the game that kept him in concussion protocol, but I love the way he was able to take off and make plays and extend plays with his legs tonight.
Well, in that first half, basically what happened, the dam broke and the water came through. We're talking about a banged-up offensive line that gave up a lot of pressures this season. And today, I think it was 6 sacks they gave up to the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's hard to be a quarterback in this league and throw when you're under duress. That was some of the drive-killing plays that kind of stalled the Broncos' offense, but they kept fighting. And Todd, you're right. Those turnovers defensively kept the Broncos in the game, and Russell Wilson and, Jeudy definitely came alive, and that gave that team somewhat of a spark.
Yeah, a lot to get to here. Jerry Jeudy's 3-touchdown game, Josie Jewell 2 interceptions. Let's get to the highlights here, show you how things played out at Empower Field at Mile High. Like we mentioned, a rough start to this one. Jerry Jeudy clearly frustrated, down 27-0, but then a spark here for the Broncos. Josie Jewell, his first interception of the season.
Yeah, baby.
It was a beauty, huh? Man, what a diving play there. He had another one later in this game, and it led to this. Jerry Jeudy, a beautiful throw over the shoulder here. Jeudy was just getting started. After a Pat Surtain interception, Jeudy added another one before halftime. So the Broncos trying to claw their way back in this one. First possession in the third quarter, Marlon Mack. Where's this been all season long? A screen, 66 yards. The Broncos scored 21 unanswered in less than 4 minutes of game time, and this one became a game. It's 34-21 in the fourth. This is the play we're talking about. 3rd and 11, Russ directing traffic and dives here. Ended up with a huge welt on the side of his head. He left the game with a concussion. In comes Rypien. On 4th down, he finds Jeudy. That's Jeudy's 3rd touchdown of the day. It made it 34-28. After Josie Jewell's interception here, the Broncos a chance to take the lead. But Rypien here, hit by Chris Jones as he was throwing the ball. It's picked off, and that is all she wrote. 34-28, the final. It's the 14th consecutive time the Chiefs have beaten the Broncos. But this was a wild one, guys. The Broncos, 320 yards of total offense. A lot of turnovers in this one. It was going back and forth. And it kind of showed you what if it's working and there's some energy there, what this Broncos offense can look like at times.
Yeah, I thought they looked great, at times throughout this game. We don't know what Jerry Jeudy said on the sideline, but to me, I felt like he was saying, I know half of our offense is missing. I know we don't have much help out there. I don't need any help. Throw me the ball, and I think everybody saw the result once he has the ball in his hands. 3 touchdowns tonight. I think he played tremendously well, and I think he's going to continue to play well if he can stay healthy. I know that's been a big thing for him is his injuries, but when he's healthy, he's a difference maker out there on that field.
Here's the one thing that happened today watching Jerry Jeudy play. Obviously, a lot of people have criticized him and say that, well, he's a bust. But, hey, the kid is so talented that even the gingerbread monsters, maybe the gingerbread said, hey, this kid is a monster. That is the type of play that Jerry Jeudy brought to the game today. And I know someone's going to make a huge, big deal of what we saw with Jerry Jeudy slapping the hands off his teammates. But that was a guy who was playing with some energy. He was trying to play with some fire, try to fire up his teammates. 3 touchdowns. We haven't seen a 3-touchdown game from Jerry Jeudy. Well, this is the first time we've seen it.
Yeah.
But this is definitely Jerry Jeudy is showing, hey, listen, if you involve me in this offense, I can make plays. But here's what he also displayed. I mean, there's been some talk about who's the number 1 receiver here in Broncos country. Well, Jerry Jeudy just showed tonight he is number 1.
Yeah, he got upset. He was playing with a lot of emotion. 8 catches for 73 yards and 3 touchdowns. A career day for Jerry Jeudy. Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett is at the podium. Let's take a listen in.
Injuries first. Mike Boone, he's got an ankle. He did not return. Russell Wilson has the concussion. He's in the concussion protocol. Kendall Hinton went out with a hamstring, and Jacob Martin went out with a knee. Did not return.
Yeah, Coach, 2 parts. What did you see from your team as you fell behind 27-0? And then any consolation in the way you rallied back and made it a game?
The goal is to win. We all know that. But to watch these guys when you're down 27-0, everybody had a choice on how they wanted to continue that game. And I'm so impressed with all those guys. Defense, offense, special teams, they didn't blink. They stayed together. Defense came through with a big play for an interception. Offense was able to play complementary football and score, and continually scored after they got another interception and then another one. And that's all. It's great. It is awesome. We got to finish. We had opportunities to continually win that game, and I appreciate that. And that is kind of that moral victory. But we want to win the game, and we had a chance to. But I'll tell you, the fight that these guys have is awesome.
Nate, is there anything else you can say about Russell? Just were you able to talk to him at all as he came off the field? And then second part, what did you make of his play up until the point that he went off?
He was fighting the whole game. I give him so much credit. I mean, you see it day in and day out, no matter what the situation is. Just watching him there in that third down situation, be able to break the pocket, and he was using his legs a lot. He obviously ended up getting the concussion. I think our medical team did a great job getting him in here, and he's in the concussion protocol now. So we'll go through that step-by-step process and do it the right way. But he was playing really well.
But Jerry, a career day today. He was frustrated early. Did you talk to him at all? And then is that kind of the performance that shows what Jerry can do at the height of his potential?
I thought Jerry really stepped up. Cortland being down. A lot of guys being down, KJ, Tim, all those guys. Jerry's a guy that had an opportunity. We changed his position this week, and he went out there, and he embraced it. And it was hard at first because they started doubling him. They were trying to take him away. They knew that we wanted to attack with him, and I think that was where a lot of that frustration came from. We talked on the sideline because of that frustration, but he just kept his head down and kept working, and it showed up with those 3 touchdowns, which I thought were awesome, especially the one on the 4th and 7. I thought that was an unbelievably critical time, continually battling back. It was great to see.
Going to that 4th and 7, how close was it to just maybe take the points and try to cut it to a touchdown field goal game? And then what can you say about Brett's performance and relief for Russ?
No, we were 100% full go. When you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, you've got to be a little more aggressive. And we were going to go for it no matter what. I think we had the ball on about the 2-yard line, I think. Tried to sneak one in, jumped off sides, and we knew we were going to go for it. So it just happened that it ended up being 4th and 7, but I thought Rip made an astounding play. It's great. That's one of the hardest things to do in this game is for a quarterback that has just been standing on the sideline, hasn't gotten a lot of practice all week, and then he's got to go out there and he's got to execute and win a game for you. And I thought he also battled. I mean, that was an absolutely clutch play to make in the back of the end zone to Jerry. And then we had some other ways to be able to move the ball, and unfortunately it didn't come our way. I give the Chiefs a lot of credit. They continually battled also.
Nate, to your right. Just curious if you could expand on what you were thinking, feeling when the score did go to 27-0.
How are we going to get back into it? I think that was the only thing I cared about. We live series to series, and we talked and communicated with the offense. Wanted to make sure that we were going to get into more of our up-tempo stuff, speed the game up, and we knew that's what kind of game it was once we were in that situation. But in the end, it's just about series to series. What are you going to be able to do to be able to get points on the board? And that's all we talked about.
Yeah, Coach, Dalton wasn't able to go today. What was the process and him not being able to go, and how much did that impact you today? 6 sacks, 11 quarterback hits.
It did a lot. I mean, Dalton's been our rock. He's been the one guy that's been here throughout the season. Losing him, both as a leader and as a player, it definitely was something we were a little nervous about. Luke started it off, and then we started a rotation with Bailey and Moody. I thought those guys got some good experience out there and kept working. But when you're making those changes like we've had all year, it stresses out the pocket sometimes. But those guys continually battled. I give them so much credit for that. No matter what the situation is, I mean, 95 and 55 are premier rushers, and they did a great job with all their pressure package. Those guys stuck together and gave us a chance there at the end.
Nate, the play that kind of flipped the tide was Josie's interception there late in the first half. Got another one later to give you guys another chance. What can you just say about what he's meant to you guys?
He's been great. He's been obviously he's got the green dot, so he runs the whole thing. We call the play into him. He keeps those guys together, and it's a testament to him with the defense, to the whole defense as a group, being able to get out there, communicate, playing a very, very good offense, getting down by that much and still battling through it, and being in the right place at the right time. And our coaches did a great job being able to pick off Patrick Mahomes 3 times is an impressive feat. I mean, Pat got his first one, which was great to see also, which gave us a chance to get some points, and that's part. I mean, it was a great job by those guys. He did a great job.
Nate, that first interception by Josie started kind of a 4-minute stretch for you guys where you score 2 touchdowns, you have the interceptions, you start the second half with a touchdown. That 4-minute stretch, is that the best football you guys have played all year, and is that something you guys can maybe build off of?
It was very good. I think that just kind of the tempo that we went, how Russ was really attacking. Then we had that big screen, which was great. I thought Marlon did a great job. Russell really actually had to throw it over 2 guys. There was a pressure off his edge. He was able to find him, and Quinn had an awesome block on the side on the number 32, which kind of sprung that thing. So those things are all great, and we're going to keep battling, and we want to build on it, and we want to do consistently better and make it like that.
You were talking about complimentary football a little bit ago. What does it say about the character of your team, the fact that all 3 phases continue to fight even when you got down 27-0?
It's awesome. I mean, it's great. There's not a word to be down 27 points in the first half and make it a 1-score game again. Now, again, it's a 1-score game, and that frustrates everybody here because we're not being able to get over that mark. But to be able to overcome a deficit like that and nobody blink and everybody continually fight for each other is something great to see. And it's something that we preach. We talk about the team all the time. That's one of our focuses. And to see them buy into that is a great thing.
Coach, this was your best offensive output of the season. Why or how did the offense work today?
When we get to look at the tape, we'll be able to dive in a little deeper. I think that we were able to make some explosive plays. I think we were able to find Jerry. We were able to get a big one on the screen. The guys kind of felt in the rhythm. I thought Russell did a great job using his feet. I think that's something that whenever he's able to break the pocket and run, he had some explosive runs there, which got us some good rushing yards and moved the ball. I mean, we got the 3rd down conversion. I think we were good in the red zone, the 3rd down, all those things, all the things that we had planned on. And it's just about execution. It's about building a good game plan and then executing that. And even when you're down, if you have both those things, you always got a chance.
Coach, I think you've had like 8 one-score losses, and now it's 5-game losing streak. What is the message to get over the hump, given the effort you saw, but that can also be demoralizing when you can't finish? What is kind of the message going into this week versus the Cardinals? You
have to emphasize the finish. You have to keep working. I mean, that's what we do. We're all here to win football games. We're all here to work together and grow together. There's been a lot of adversity this year, and you have a choice. You get angry about the adversity, or you utilize it to grow. And as a team, we have to grow. We have to take this adversity. So wherever that comes again, we can build off that. We can understand that. It's not something new. It's not something we haven't experienced, so that we can continually grow as a team, because it's not just about 1 year. It's about continuous years over and over that you want to get great and you want to keep working. And for us, we got to keep working and keep developing. Thank you all.
That's Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett at the podium after a 34-28 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. It's the Broncos' 11th one-score game this season. We're back here in studio on Broncos Postgame Live. I'm Phil Milani alongside Todd Davis and Nick Ferguson. Todd, just some takeaways there from what you heard from the Broncos coach.
You know, what I really liked is, or what I wanted to talk about was the offense. I feel like Clint Kubiak is doing a great job with his play calling. I think that Marlon Mack long screen was a great play call. By the time he got the ball, there wasn't a Chief player within 15 yards of him, and that's all in play design and calling. I think that was a great job of implementing that screen when the Chiefs wanted to be aggressive and really keep the Broncos on their heels. Also, I like the way he's using Jeudy. I think they should adapt the same method kind of the Chiefs do. If Jeudy is one-on-one, just like Travis Kelce. If he's one-on-one, we're going there. If he's doubled up, then we'll look for somewhere else to go with the football. Look to Greg Dulcich or Courtland Sutton when he's healthy. But first and foremost, if somebody wants to go one-on-one with Jerry Jeudy, we're going to give him the ball, because 9 out of 10 times I believe that Jerry Judy's going to win that matchup.
Now, we all wonder, what would it take for this offense to be high-flying? And we had to wait till the Kansas City Chiefs game to see it. So we were trying to really figure out what was the biggest mystery with this offense, and Coach Hackett just talked about it. It was running up tempo. That's why we saw a different offense today. And if the Broncos from here on out, even moving into 2023, decide to go more up tempo, especially when you're playing at home, it takes the stress off your quarterback. Believe it or not, it takes the stress off of your offensive lineman, and it keeps the offense into a flow. And then next year, you have a healthy, Jerry Jeudy be back, KJ Hamler, Tim Patrick, and Courtland Sutton. Could you imagine this offense, all these guys running up tempo? No one will be able to stop this offense. But we just saw a glimpse into the future of the Denver Broncos.
Not to mention, it's hard to breathe.
Yes, yeah. That's why you run, hurry up.
It's hard to breathe in the altitude in Denver. I love in the fourth quarter where they show that like altitude sickness and everybody's passing out breathing. You know that the opposing players, they feel that. So the run up tempo, keep them on their heels, and then they can't catch their breath. I think that puts them at a big advantage throughout the game.
That's why we play at 52-80.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Is there something though when you're down 27-0, you're just like, let's just go out there and we got to play this way, where it frees you up a little bit, huh?
I think it does. I think there's no stress. I think you feel like you got to give everything you have. There's no plan for tomorrow. You're down 27-0. I think you give everything you have until your last breath. I think that's what you saw Russell Wilson doing his last play. He was giving everything he had to put his team in the best position to win. And I truly believe if he doesn't go out on that play, the Broncos may end up winning this game. They had a lot of momentum. They were moving the ball well in the second half and were really stopping them on defense. I feel like they were in a good position to win the game had he not gone out.
Yeah, this team showed some true grit. And based on where the season is going right now, we know that the Broncos are not headed to the playoffs at all. I mean, this team came out and continued to fight. And it's so easy to just kind of give up when you're down by 27 points and say, you know what, let's go ahead, 1, 2, 3, Cancun. But this team continued to play. And this is why I'm really excited about this team moving forward. Only if they can play in desperation mode every single game, maybe we'll see the outcome to be something similar to what we saw today.
I want to talk about Russell Wilson a little bit more, but of course he left the game now in concussion protocol. So Brett Rypien is meeting the media after the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal, but, it's the mindset is go win the game, whatever it takes. And obviously, I've never been in a situation like that before, especially when you come in and you're down on their 5-yard line. It's kind of nice. I wish every drive started like that. But, yeah, man, I'm just frustrated that, I couldn't get it done because especially after, how hard Russ fought, how hard our offense fought. We've been through a lot this year, and I've just seen him battle every single day, and just so proud of that room. So just tough.
Yeah, Brett, you guys did have the chance after Josie's second pick of the game, put you guys near midfield, trailing by 6. Can you just kind of go through the play that resulted in the interception, what you saw?
Yeah, so they were in 44 man, which is a coverage where you're playing man underneath, and then the safeties are trying to drive on stuff. And we had a play called where, we had Jerry on a slant route, and, I maybe could have fitted into him. Initially it was kind of tough to tell whether the safety was going to be able to make the play on it. And then once I got outside the pocket, I just got to communicate to him better because I thought we had an opportunity to go deep. And just the little hesitation, allowed 95 to come around the edge and, ultimately make that play. So frustrating because I thought I had a good one-on-one there.
Brett, can you take us through the touchdown pass to Jerry on 4th down, just kind of what you saw, and obviously Jerry's big day overall too?
Yeah, he was running a back line, a route, and we had Greg on the shallow, and really the whole read is based off the backside safety. If he cuts the shallow, you throw the back line, and if he takes the back line, you throw the shallow. So he cut the shallow cross, and I was able to fit it over the backer for a touchdown.
Brett, you've obviously spent a ton of time with Russ this year. What did you see from him today that was kind of a step forward, and what gives you confidence that he can build on that when he's back?
Yeah, I thought he was, stepping up in the pocket really well. I thought our guys made plays. We had a lot of good yards after catch, which helps. But ultimately, I thought he was getting the ball out on time, and he was stepping up and making plays and putting his body on the line, man. I mean, we can say all we want, but we're 3-9, they're 9-3, and the guy's out there battling his ass off to try to win the game. Like, that to me is somebody I want to follow.
Brett, can you kind of take us onto the sideline and what it's like when you're down 27-0 in the sense you get from your teammates, and then I guess adding to it, you being thrust into the comeback effort, but just the mood when you guys are down there?
Yeah, well, as far as being down 27-0, it's not a good feeling, but at the same time, it's early in the game, so you had a lot of ball left to play, and when we gain some momentum like we did, and get 14 points before halftime, and then we know we have the ball coming out, it's anybody's game at that point. So we go out and we score, and then, I thought we were going to win the game, and that's exactly what I thought when I came into the game. And then we get a pick, we get the ball at the 50-yard line. I'm thinking the same thing, but so that's why, to me, it's so frustrating, especially knowing I've been here for 4 years now. We haven't beat these guys, and I think that's 14 straight. It's frustrating.
It's the most amount of points you guys have scored this season so far. From your vantage, and I know that you haven't been able to be on the field every single time, but what do you think contributed to that today?
Yeah, again, I thought, Russ got the ball out quick. Our receivers did a good job of getting yards after catch. We stayed ahead of the chains. We didn't have a whole lot of negative plays. Really, I think if you look at the drives that were killed, it was because of, a negative play, a penalty, or a sack. So when we can stay ahead of the chains and keep ourselves in manageable down and distances, I think we can be a really good offense. And ultimately, too, we got a bunch of rookies playing out there. We got a bunch of young guys. I know you don't like to have any excuses, and that's not what we're trying to do, but we're trying to build chemistry every single week. There's a bunch of different guys that are getting thrust into different positions, and we're trying to figure it out for sure. So I think today was a great step in the right direction.
Brett, as you said, you guys show fight. You're right there. How hard is it to get over that mental step, though you're just not finishing because of the fact that this is professional sports and you're evaluated by one thing, winning?
Yeah. I mean, it's frustrating. Definitely frustrating. I mean, I don't know exactly what the answer is, to be honest with you. I mean, when you're winning, and you're finding ways to win. And I've been a part of some winning programs, and I've been a part of some losing programs. So I know what it feels like on both sides, and I think ultimately we just have to figure out, especially late in games, how can we just find a way to win everybody, and it starts with us as quarterbacks, but it's the entire team, and that's what makes this sport so great is you only control 40% of it, really, when you look at it from an offensive standpoint. So you rely on everybody, and that's what we got to figure out. Thanks, guys.
That's Broncos quarterback Brett Rypien, who had to come in relief for Russell Wilson, who entered the concussion protocol. Rypien did what he could there. That's a tough spot to come in, threw a touchdown and an interception to close out this one. Let's talk about Russell Wilson's performance, though. He threw the pick six there in the first half, down 27-0, but somehow found a way to turn this thing around. What do you think about his game? Was that the best game he's played as a Broncos quarterback?
I think it was. I loved his grit and his determination. One interesting thing I saw from Nathaniel Hackett's interview and also Brett Rypien's, they both took the time to speak highly of Russell Wilson, about his work ethic. Brett Rypien said that that's somebody I want to follow. They always talk about how great of a leader he is. They hear all the chatter in the news, all the chatter in the media, and every chance they get, they want to quiet it down because they hope that everyone sees what they see in him day in and day out. And I think this game proved it. He's a fighter. He continues to fight. Not every game is perfect. Not every game is going well. I think this is one of his best, but they want to let everyone know, like, they have his back, they trust him, and they're riding with him.
Yes, that wasn't quite vintage Russ, but this was Russ getting back to ways that we've seen him play in his days with the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm glad you pointed that out, Todd, because I really, clung to that whole idea of listening to Brett Rypien talk about, Russell Wilson as a quarterback. I mean, all season long, Russell Wilson, all we heard about how much money he's being paid and the results are not paying for it. I mean, all I know is I saw a guy out there leading a team back who was down 27-0. And that was a gutsy play because usually inside the red zone, quarterbacks normally go feet first because they know that the rules actually protect them. But Russell Wilson went head first knowing what could possibly happen. If that's not a leader, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I mean, that's somebody you want to play for. He's out there just battling. He had 4 runs for 57 yards today. It did look like that's how this team's going to have success, especially with all the injuries, this team has had. You heard Rypien talk about it there. I mean, there's a lot of young guys who are in new positions here. Russ moving around, that's the way that this team might have some success moving forward.
I think that's important. Nathaniel Hackett brought it up in his press conference as well. When he's able to use his legs to get out of pocket, extend plays, it puts you on your toes, and it also changes the way that opposing defensive coordinators can game plan for you. Now I have to leave a QB spy. I can't have 5 guys in coverage. I have to have somebody watching the quarterback to see if he gets out. Now that limits the players that you can double team. It allows for more people to become open. Maybe you have to go to more zone instead of man-to-man so guys can have their eyes back on the quarterback because he likes to scramble so much. I think that him using his legs is going to be the best scenario for the Broncos to get a win.
Yeah, it's the best scenario moving forward because when you look at how the quarterback position is being played today, it's all due to athletic mobile quarterbacks that are able to move the launch point and put pressure on the defense. And with Russell, this is something, once again, that we're used to. And that was all due, not just because of Russell, but I give a little credit to Jerry Jeudy. Once Jerry Jeudy started catching fire, then they had to double him from a defensive standpoint, which means, though, there was kind of a chasm that opened up for Russell, and he took full advantage of it. So this is why I'm very optimistic based on what I've seen from this team thus far.
Yeah, Russ scrambling is sort of like a double-edged sword, though. It gets the offense going a little bit, but then he has to leave the game after a big hit. So you want him to scramble, but you also got to protect him a little bit, too. Let's go field level at Empower Field at Mile High. Check in with our A-team. It's Alexis Perry and Eric Dalala.
Thanks so much, Phil. Eric, the Broncos, they were 8.5-point underdogs heading into this game, and they really gave the Chiefs a run for their money. While this is a loss, there were a ton of positives that we saw throughout this game, especially starting there at the end of the second quarter. What did you see throughout those final 3 minutes that really sparked this team for the rest of the game?
Yeah, I mean, well, it starts with the defensive performance there with a couple of interceptions to spark those 2 touchdowns, but I just thought you saw a fight from these Broncos. Down 27-0, it'd be easy to mail it in to say, okay, let's move on to next week. It's not our day.
Yeah.
Instead, they kept fighting. The Broncos offense found some success. Touchdowns on 3 consecutive drives at the end of the second quarter and to begin the third quarter. Like Zayden scored touchdowns on 2 consecutive drives all season, so that was impressive. They got the stops they needed. They fought till the end. You just wish you could have seen, if Russell Wilson was able to stay out there. Obviously, we're thinking about him and his health, but what would it have been like on that final drive if you still have Russ out there?
Yeah, as for this offense, you mentioned a few things there, but what do you really want to see this team take from this game and build on moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, Jerry Jeudy, we got to talk about his game. 3 touchdown receptions. He had 3 all season, and that was the most he'd ever posted in a season in his career. He was a dominant number 1 type guy tonight, and I think that's what you want to see moving forward. Can he be that type of guy, that explosive weapon that an offense can rely upon? So you got to continue to feature him, but a big game for Jerry Jeudy, obviously the biggest in his career.
And a huge game for Josie Jewell here today. 2 interceptions, his first 2 interceptions of his career. What has just really impressed you, not only tonight from Josie Jewell, but just really this whole season?
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that's a veteran. He continues to lead, continues to play hard, no matter how things are going. He has that first interception, and they all run down to the end zone and celebrate, and you're in the press box, and you're thinking, well, you're down 27-0. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but it clearly kick-started this team. And then when you went to celebrate the second one, you're like, okay, this makes a lot more sense. You kept the faith there. If you're Josie Jewell, you led this defense. You gave them a chance, and they did their part, picking off Pat Mahomes 3 times. I know it's the most points the Broncos allowed this season, but they were really able to battle back and give Denver's offense a chance.
Yeah, what does this performance say about this team and maybe the expectations that you have now for the remainder of the season?
Well, you got to do it consistently. I think that's one thing we've said a lot, is that it can't just be a one-day thing. But I do think it shows the offensive potential, particularly when Russ is healthy, able to put up 28 points, able to do some things that you haven't been able to do all season. So maybe it shows you're closer than you think you might be, but it's got to be consistent. It can't just be today.
Thanks, Eric. Yeah, we'll be thinking of Russell Wilson and Mike Boone here in the coming days. All right, Phil, let's send it back over to you.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's talk about that Broncos defense a little bit there. They were talking about Josie Jewell. Probably played the best game of his career, too, today. The 2 interceptions. He didn't have any all season long. What's gotten into him? I mean, it seems like every week we're talking about Josie.
Well, I talk to him a lot, so I like to say my coaching is doing his job, and it's really paying off. No, I'm just playing. That's my guy. I feel like he's playing great. I don't know if he had stickum or some kind of glue on his gloves, but he was catching everything in his vicinity, and he came and had a great game. 2 interceptions, but also 9 tackles. Really one of the leaders on that defense, and really is making a lot of plays. Had 17 tackles last week. He continued to let his name be known, and he needs a lot of recognition for the way that he's playing right now.
I think it's time for Josie to somewhat change his name from Josie Jewell to Josie Run Those Jewels, because that's exactly what he did. And when you talk about having a lack of leadership, which we've seen on this team over the past couple of years, Josie Jewell has really stepped up to the table. I mean, the combination of both he and Alex Singleton has definitely changed the Broncos' defense on that second level. And listen, I'm okay to say that I was wrong about Josie, because I was one of those individuals that said that I don't think that the Broncos will be successful with a guy like Josie Jewell. But when you know you have limitations at any position, then you have to lean on your wits, and that's what he did. He learned from his mistakes early in the game. Patrick Mahomes almost made a couple earlier interceptions thrown to Josie Jewell. He was in the right spot, looking at Patrick Mahomes' eyes and knowing as though he's trying to throw that inside curl route in between the hashes. He stepped right in and got 2 interceptions.
Nick, that's big of you, man. I know that he's had a lot of doubters, but that's big for you to step in and say you made a mistake, and my boy's playing well.
Yeah, you have to. As you watch a guy and information you start to gather over the years, it's okay to change your minds. And at first, I thought the problem was going to be because Josie Jewell lacked the level of speed to play this game. But sometimes when you don't have the speed, you have to make up for it in other areas, and he's making up for it in the realm of intelligence. So, yes, I was wrong. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, he was a 2-time captain at Iowa, too, so he's got this natural leadership ability, plays a big role for this Broncos defense. We want to talk a little bit more about the defense in just a second, but let's go inside the Broncos locker room and check in with Sidney Jones.
Thanks, Phil. We're here with inside linebacker Josie Jewell. Josie, I mean, you guys gave the Chiefs a run for their money tonight. I know, obviously, you guys didn't get the win, but for you personally, you got 2 interceptions. First off, your first career interception, then get 2 in one game. What did that mean for you personally?
Yeah, I mean, you want stats sometimes, but overall the wins matter the most. Honestly, I'd rather won this game than getting those 2 picks, but just got to keep on playing. Got to fix some errors and play a little better on defense.
This was Patrick Mahomes' 3rd career 3-interception game. What was working so well for this defense in that regard today?
Yeah, coaches threw a lot of things at him, I think. There's a lot of simulated pressures, a couple blitzes, and then I think guys were very sticky today. So, it was great coverage at some points, but still there was too many bad plays in between.
What was kind of the message to the team here in the locker room after the game?
Keep on fighting. The year's not over. Nobody's going to quit right now. We need to finish the year strong and go from there.
Another game back at home this weekend. What's the focus this week at practice?
It's just gonna be details. Stay to your own job. Don't try to do too much. And if we do that, I think we'll win. I mean, we got a lot of good players in here. Maybe sometimes me or other guys try to do too much. I think we just need to stay to our job.
Josie, appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Phil, back to you.
Thank you very much, Sydney. Good stuff there with Josie Jewell. Like he said, though, it wasn't all perfect. The Chiefs scored on their first 4 possessions. It was field goal, touchdown, then the pick 6. That's how the Broncos fell behind 27-0. I guess that's just playing Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's going to get his.
Yeah, it's hard to play Patrick Mahomes. I feel like they throw so many things at you, and there's so many different guys to cover that they're going to score a lot of points. I think it's always safe to bet that you're going to have to score at least 35 points to be in competition to win a game against the Chiefs. They're going to get theirs. The best you can do is slow them down, what the Broncos did in the second half of the game. But the first half, I just think they jumped out too much of a lead for the Broncos to really overcome.
You know what? There's one play in this game that speaks to, I guess, the brilliance of Patrick Mahomes. It was that kind of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar skyhook type of play to Jet McKinnon. And there's nothing that Justin Simmons could really do about that particular play. It was just like, hey, once again, store that in the archives for Patrick Mahomes. But this game, once again, shows you how close you are to a team who is playoff bound and probably trying to pursue that number 1, number 2 seed in the NFL. So you're not too far away, but you have to be more consistent, win the turnover battle, but more importantly, you need better offensive line play.
He had that other touchdown, too, in the red zone where he danced around forever. He's just about to get hit, and then, boom, he delivers a touchdown pass. That's frustrating to play against, when you feel like you're bringing the guy down and he's still delivering strikes like that.
Because you feel like, what more can you do? Like, I've done everything I could. I've covered this guy for 10 seconds. The rush has been great, and all of a sudden the ball just comes flying out of the backfield and it's a touchdown. That's frustrating. I didn't know how to handle it. I would usually go to the sideline and slam my helmet on something because he's just that type of player. He's a magician when he's out there. You never know when he's going to choose to make a big play. I remember playing him. We had him locked tight in the fourth quarter. It was 3rd and 10. He throws similar sky hook to Tyreek Hill to end up winning the game, a game that we really thought we had wrapped up, but that's just the kind of player he is.
The left-handed. He throws it left-handed against LeBron. I mean, come on.
You know what? Here's the thing. There's a lot of mobile quarterbacks in this league, but here's what I'm starting to realize about a lot of these guys. A lot of these guys play baseball, right? And that baseball pedigree just kind of allows them to do things that ordinary quarterbacks couldn't do. Like I never slammed my helmet, but if I ever saw a guy and the quarterback kind of scrambling, I'm going to take him and try to shove him out of bounds, right? Try to put my body on. That's what I would love to have seen on that particular play, because usually when a quarterback breaks the pocket, it's a scramble drill. And you always hear that word, plaster, plaster, plaster. Find the nearest guy to you, try to match body up to body. And Justin Simmons was in that vicinity, but he just couldn't make the play. But you know what? This is the NFL. They get paid too.
It seems like this Chiefs offense puts a lot of pressure on the safeties. I mean, there are many times where Justin Simmons, Kareem Jackson, they're like caught in the middle somewhere there where you got to make a decision what you want to do. Simmons coming up, he's like, all right, Mahomes is scrambling for this first down. Then he just flips it over his head. Seems like it really attacks that position a little bit.
Yeah, it puts a lot on Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson. I think also this defense does. The way that it's set up, it allows for Alex Singleton and Josie Jewell to run around and make all the tackles and then be able to sit underneath coverage and get interceptions like Josie did today. But there's a lot of pressure on Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson to be able to cover tight ends, be able to cover wide receivers in space, and be able to make those tough decisions on play actions. When Patrick Mahomes gets out of the pocket, you have to know when to come off your guy or when to stay plastered because he still hasn't passed the line of scrimmage yet. So there is a lot of pressure on them. And tonight they weren't able to play their best ball against that.
Yeah, this is just a byproduct of where the league is now gone. I mean, when we're looking at this division or this conference as a whole, you have so many mobile quarterbacks. This is why having guys who are great edge rushers, who have great discipline, guys who are great on the second level, as we saw Josie Jewell today, being able to step into those passing windows and anticipate throws. This is why it puts more pressure on you from a GM standpoint, being able to go out and get the personnel to fit that of the people you have to challenge. And that at the beginning of the season, we were all wondering, what was going to happen with this game? Did George Paton assemble the right A-team, if you will, to kind of slow down the Kansas City Chiefs? No, he hasn't. There's still a couple pieces away, but this just tells you that you are going down the right direction.
They played the Chiefs awfully close several times during this streak here, but Patrick Mahomes now 10-0 against the Broncos, and even just in general against the division. He's never lost a road game in the division. Never.
Wow.
I mean, it's amazing, the success the Chiefs have had here. This one, though, turned into a bit of a shootout, thanks to Jerry Jeudy's 3 touchdowns here today. Let's go to the podium and listen to see what he had to say after the game.
You know, I was just on that certain play, I got held, and I was just frustrated because, you know, we didn't have things going, so I was just out there playing with frustration, just wanted to make a play for my team. And I feel like at that point, I was just held, and it should have been a call, but I got to know how to control my anger and just move on from there.
Jerry, you went on to have 3 touchdowns, obviously best game of your career. What was working for you, and does that show maybe just the potential of what this offense can do?
Yeah, I just think the coach just put me in a great position to make plays, and I feel like everybody just executed on them plays to be able to drive the ball and be able to make those plays. And like I said, the O-line did a good job blocking in them plays. Quarterback made the right read, and everybody ran a great route to make that play work. So that's what helped it out.
When you guys are down 27-0, Jerry, you obviously can pack it in. So I guess, can you find a moral victory or some positivity in coming back, making a game, and having a chance to win late, even though it didn't go the way you wanted?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, this team, if we never finish how we want to, but one thing I can say for sure that we never quit, and we just keep fighting throughout the whole game. Even when we down 27-0, 21-0, we still kept fighting because if it's time on the clock, it's time to win the game. There's still a chance.
Jerry, can you just sort of take us through, you know, Russell goes down after running the ball for the first down to the 2-yard line. Brett comes in. As an offensive player, how do you kind of handle when there's a sudden change like that, especially in that situation?
You know, I just keep, as a receiver, I just keep doing my job. You know, Brett is a great quarterback that's always prepared when he's ready to get in. So when Russ went down and Brett came in, it was no doubt or no nothing, because we know how much work Brett put in throughout the week to be able to live up to this moment.
Jerry, the last time a Bronco had a 3-touchdown performance was Demaryius Thomas in 2014 on a night that they were celebrating him out here at the stadium. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot, you know, just especially this night, you know, it's a anniversary for that. That it just means DT was with us today, you know, so it means a lot.